Thank
I mean,
you.
we'll still keep talking about this and bring more updates regarding privatizing the health sector, but it is something that has been kicked against. NLC has said that you cannot take the hospitals that have been built with taxpayers' money and then give them to private individuals, and that they will kick against it if this happens. So we'll be talking more about this as we proceed. But let's move away to Rivers State. The Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Martin Amaewhule, has issued a 7-day ultimatum to Governor Siminalayi Fubara to resubmit the 2024 budget. Now, this directive came during the first session of the Pro-Wike House of Assembly on Monday, following an appeal court order dismissing the order of a Rivers State High Court, which restrained Martin Amaewhule and 24 others from parading themselves as lawmakers of the State Assembly.
Well, Governor Fubara had previously presented a budget to a different House faction loyal to him, with Edinson Ehie presiding as Speaker. The pro-Fubara lawmakers passed the budget, which Fubara subsequently signed into law. Well, joining us now is PDP Chieftain Collins Odu. Good morning to you, Mr. Odu, and thank you so much for being here again. It seems like every now and then that you join us, it's a different cloth that this drama is putting on. And this time we have a different one. It's got to do, I think the title of this cloth that this drama is wearing is called 7 Days Time. What do you make of the 7 days ultimatum given to Governor Fubara by a different faction this time, which many have attributed or called the Pro-Wike faction? What are your thoughts on that?
Good morning, Nigerians. Anyway, Rivers State is a river state of possibilities. But so far, it's almost turned into Rivers State of one day, one drama. But that's notwithstanding. Let me go to your question. Yeah, my take on this is that first and foremost, I want to commend the appeal court for standing firm to defend democracy. You see, I say this because we live in a state where the rule of law has been turned upside down, and is very disturbing because the major actor is the governor of the state, who took an oath to defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And every drama of illegality and lawlessness has come from the governor. And this is, to say the least, unexpected and disheartening. And let me not use very strong words, but I think the governor is the architect of all the problems. All right, my take on it is the fact that the House of Assembly, by virtue of the judgment of the appeal court, has been given life in contrast to the governor's activities and actions, whereby he says this will leave. No, you no longer leave. This person should leave. That has been the action of the governor in disrespect and disregard to judgments. Constituted courts of competent jurisdiction gave judgments. I have one here from Justice Omotosho, wherein some prayers were answered, but the governor, in violation to all of these court judgment, had decided to be to say the least, to portray an executive rascality that has never been witnessed in Nigeria. So the 7-day ultimatum given to them is as a result of the life given back to the Martin Amaewhule-led assembly, which is the only assembly. It's unfortunate that people will be referring to other assemblies. Like I said to you, let us even imagine, but not conceding to the fact that, okay, the 27 lawmakers needed to defect, which is not true. You all know that in Rivers State, led by former Governor Nyesom Wike, we supported President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is of the APC, and to that extent, we cohabit and fraternize with them. So the assembly members, in view of recognizing the benefits of the president, decided to chant the songs of the president. And people now thought that they had defected. That notwithstanding, but assuming and considering to the fact that they defected, they gave a reason that, look, we are doing this because there is commotion in our party, which section 109, section 2 gives life. If for any reason anybody is defecting and gives reason, that does not mean that he will automatically lose his seat.
Okay,
but
please hold on that thought. I like to bring in a lawyer. I mean, you're saying, assuming without conceding that they actually, that action of them gathering together and singing songs in support of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu shows that they are defected, right? That if we assume that that's what it was, that doesn't automatically mean that they have forgone their seat. Let's bring in a lawyer. We have legal practitioner Towo Oseruwoja. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. I know that you've been a part of the conversation. I'd like you to react to some of the things that our earlier guest, Mr. Odu, has said. You know, he talked about Fubara displaying judicial rascality, and then he's also shared now that, assuming without conceding that the actions of the 27 lawmakers can be said to have, can be interpreted as them having moved parties, of them having left one party to join the other, that that cannot be interpreted as them having vacated their seat. So we'd like you to give us some clarity on that.
Well, let me look at, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
We can, loud and clear.
Okay, let me first of all answer the first leg, the last leg of your question. If the lawmakers have defected or not, or if they can still retain their seats. It is clear. It is clear from the Constitution. Section 109, subsection 1, if you look at paragraph G of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, you discover that a member of House of Assembly, which in this case now, the member of River State House of Assembly, who defected from the political party that sponsored him or her to another political party during the period of that tenure, cease to lose or lose his seat is a constitutional matter. And let's not forget that what the analyst said earlier, the matter before my Lord, Honorable Justice, Reverend Honorable Justice Omotosho, was not to either determine whether they are valid member of the State House of Assembly or not, or whether they've defected and thereby allowing them to lose their seat. It's not because of that. And that is a subject to another matter which I will answer. So it's a clear provision of the Constitution. It's a clear provision of the Constitution, which even there is a recent Court of Appeal decision on that one, 2023, the case of Anyanwu versus Okoro, which was reported in Electronic Law Report, Law Pavilion. It was clearly stated that a member of the State House of Assembly ceased to become a member when he defected from the political party that sponsored him or her to another political party. The exception is so clear that they must prove that in the course of before their defection or in the course of their defection, there is a division within the political party, and that onus does not move on the person who took them to court, but the person who alleges that division is there. So that is for that. Then on judicial rascality of Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, well, you could see that when the temple of justice is uncertain, anarchy in question can be, anarchy will be let loose. So you could see that, take it or leave it, there are conflicting orders as at the point some actions are taken. There are conflicting orders. You could see the River State House of Assembly and the River State High Court at that particular point in time, did not recognize the pro-Wike members of pro-Wike member House of Assembly members, because there was an order at that particular point in time that they should not parade themselves as members of Rivers State House of Assembly, even though the matter has been trashed. But at that particular point in time, the governor was acting on that issue. So there are two distinct issues. So whether each of the court, the Federal High Court on its own, when he sat in Abuja and listened to the matter that was presented before the court as jurisdiction, is something that I think we need to look at legally. And even whether the Rivers State House of Assembly at that particular point in time restraining the members from parading themselves as members of Rivers State House of Assembly as jurisdiction over the matter is something that I think that calls for judicial review, or should I look at it jurisprudential research to look at these loopholes created by the Constitution, and at the same time the inconsistency of the pronouncement of court when it comes to political issues in Nigeria.
Okay, I'd also like you to still react to some of the other legal challenges that we may have as to what might be the implication of the local government caretaker committee that has been appointed by the new assembly that's been sworn in by the governor, Governor Siminalayi Fubara. What becomes their fate now, seeing that Martin Amaewhule and the other lawmakers have, quote-unquote, been reinstated?
Well, if you look at my take on what Fubara did when it comes to should I use the word dissolution or the appointment of administrative committee, head of administration in the 24 local government. If you look at Section 7 of the Constitution, it is clear that a local government must be administered by a democratically elected person. So, but you see the excesses of our state governors now, which I believe that gives them that power to treat the local government as a department under the state government. They hire, or they believe that they hire, they fire. So that is, first of all, a legal issues which the Supreme Court has held time without number. I expected the legal team and I expected the advisors of Fubara that before the expiration of those local government tenure, he would have put in place or instructed the relevant agency, which is the Rivers State Electoral Commission, to put in place mechanism for the transition, democratic transition of the local government chairman by conducting an election, just like the states, irrespective of how or the time of the tenure of the of a state governor, there must be an election for another person to take over. So it is constitutionally wrong, but though sometimes they act on the law created by the State House of Assembly. And you look at it, if you look at Section 1 of the Constitution, that when a law is inconsistent, a state law is inconsistent with the Constitution of the Federal Republic, to the extent of inconsistency, that law ceases to be what is null and void. So it is illegal and it is unconstitutional. So
that means, if I hear you correctly, what you're saying is that it's a case of two wrongs. Wrong on the part of Governor Siminalayi Fubara.
It's a clearly case of two wrongs. The governor has no power. Because I've listened to political analysts, I've listened to legal our colleagues. Though we as lawyers, we are to express our opinion. We are not to state what the law is. It is what the court says that is the law. And I told you, the Supreme Court has ruled that a local government must be administered by a democratically elected person, as stipulated by Section 7 of the Constitution.
That's a tough one. Let's go back to Mr. Ordu, who's also there. Mr. Ordu, so you've made some points clearly that there's been a back and forth in this issue of the 27-man. They did not actually change parties. I remember the last time you joined us, you said they were just singing songs and so on. That it didn't mean anything. It was just like a caricature, like you said the last time. But then again, I'd like us to focus on what really is happening in Rivers State. Do you think that this would come to an end anytime soon? Or don't you think it is just better for the pro-Wike faction to just sheath their swords and allow the current governor to just continue with the work that he has to do, the work that the people appointed him to do?
Anyway, before I go into that, I was wondering if I was still participating in this debate.
No, you are.
Almost...
You are. That's why we've come to you now. Please
okay,
go ahead.
That notwithstanding, I want to correct one impression he made. In section 109 sub G, there is a proviso there saying, assuming they defected and that they gave a reason. I think that that section is subject to adjudication, and until that is decided, the lawmakers still remain lawmakers. That was why I said the rationality of the governor in ignoring court judgments. So, but before that, let me go into what you just said. You see, yes, whatever is hot will definitely be cold. I think that the euphoria of the office of the governor to a man who obviously has not held such office before is what is at play. And I'm sure that in no distant time it will subside and we'll gain normalcy in Rivers State. It is very common that when a vehicle is given a load that is bigger than it will take time to adjust and begin to move normally. So we give room to such. The House of Assembly has given him 7 days, and this is in compliance with section 122 of the Constitution, which states that in 6 months, a governor or any executive is given the platform to operate without the Constitution, and that 6 months elapsed last month, June. So in compliance to the Constitution, they have given him 7 days to present the budget. You are aware that in Justice Omotoso's statement, he said it clean and clear that the Martins Amewule-led assembly is the assembly. He discarded the issue of the current chief of staff. Now, what's his name? I cannot remember his name. He was then the impostor speaker. I say impostor speaker because, like the lawyer said there, that there was an order restraining Martins Amewule from operating. There can't be you see, the point is, I said in this platform that people speak because they don't have the facts. Edison here was never a speaker. Before that order was gotten, Edison here had been thoroughly suspended and couldn't have gone to court to say, look, I get an order to suspend the operations of the Martins Amewule. Let us get this fast so that when people are discussing, they will put things the right way. So as it is now, I think with this order, 7 days order, that tension on the governor will definitely calm down because I think he's coming to terms with the reality. And that is the reason why he has gone to another state high court to let me not say procure, to get an injunction stopping the assembly from having a discussion with the chief judge and the clerk of the house. If the assembly was not in existence, I don't think he would do this. I think he's beginning to realize that he has been on the negative side of the law. For sure, he will come to his senses and we'll move forward.
Okay, we'll come back to you, Mr. Audu, to answer the second part of my colleague's question when he asked for the way forward and if they're going to shake their swords. But I want to bring in our lawyer to react to some of the legal statements that you've made. I'm sure that he'd have a right of response. Please go ahead.
Okay, well, if you look at it basically, I first of all, let me react to the fact that if people get their fact right, if you see what I said was as a result of the orders that are before the court, irrespective, because like I told you, there are legal issues, there are legal jurisprudence that need to be explored over the Rivers State crisis. And one of them is, what jurisdiction does the Federal High Court have towards the administration of the state government? That is one. Then two, what is the power of the State High Court to determine who is a member of a state House of Assembly or not. These are issues that needed to be looked into after the crisis, because our judiciary needs to be up and doing when it comes to political related issues in Nigeria, because whatever they do does not only affect the current situation, but it creates bigger problem as a precedent in future. Now back to it. An order of court remains an order of court, irrespective of how it is gotten, until it is set aside. And I will let you understand that when an order of court exists, any actions done in line with the order of court remain valid, except those actions are set aside by the court or a court of competent jurisdiction. So as at the point in which Fubara was acting, definitely he was acting based on the order of the State High Court, of the River State High Court. Now, the Federal High Court has made pronouncement as to the rights and privileges of the members of River State House of Assembly and who is the Speaker of River State House of Assembly. You could see that by virtue of section 251 of the Constitution, if you look at subsection 4 of that particular section, it confirms issue of who becomes or who is a member or the tenure of a member of State House of Assembly or governor of a state, which this Federal High Court has clearly stated. Do you understand? So it's left for the aggrieved party to question or challenge the procedure as to in line with section 109, subsection 1, paragraph G, to determine if they are still valid members of the State House of Assembly, because that was not in question when the Federal High Court made a pronouncement. So this is the fact. Then the other issue was the fact that now, if those order has been made and the one that is valid, which is the current order now that is valid, what is expected of the River State government is to comply with the provision of the Constitution. And what is it? Is to what? Because one, the bill, as at the time the bill was signed, it was acting on the order of the State High Court, and that order has been set aside. Then two, the Federal High Court, in adjudicating on the matter before the court, has upheld that all those processes, all the bill, because a bill, the budget or appropriation bill is already a law until it's set aside. And the Federal High Court has set it aside. So it is no longer valid until it is presented before the State House of Assembly. But however, the legal team of Fubara knows what to do. And the legal team of the PDP, which in these circumstances, I fear for the principle and at the same time, the ideology of political party in Nigeria. They know what to do in addressing the River State crisis, because it's beyond political solution. But this is purely legal solution that can be resolved legally. Okay,
so if I get you correctly, he would need to represent the budget to the State House of Assembly. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Toh?
Yes, based on the pronouncement of my Lord.
All right. So what I want to ask finally would be that in the next 7 days, they've given them a deadline of 7 days. So I think 1 day down, 6 days to go. What happens if he refuses to represent this budget?
You see, people will say that the governor are the most powerful individual in Nigeria, and I'll tell you for free, they are more powerful than even the president if they exercise the humongous power given to them by the Constitution, because they hold the president, they hold the central by the neck, and they trap the local government by the feet. But however, there is still a loophole whereby they become so vulnerable, which is section 182 of the Constitution that gives the State House of Assembly the impeachment proceeding. And you know, if you look at that section 188 of the Constitution, it gives the State House of Assembly, in these circumstances, what we call the I think the word misconduct can be said to, even if people can say that even if the governor did not hold his pen, like if he's addressing people, yes, no, it can be defined as misconduct by the State House of Assembly.
All right. Okay.
Even if the governor decide not to take his breakfast, it can be defined as misconduct, because the word misconduct was not clearly stated in the Constitution.
All right.
So the State House of Assembly in these circumstances can, which I believe they are teaming towards is to invoke Section 188 of the Constitution.
Well, so final question now to Honorable Collins Odu, as quickly as you can. The second question that my colleague asked you, what's the way forward? Are they going to shift their swords at some point? Are we expecting maybe an impeachment for Governor Siminalayi Fubara?
Can you see me?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Okay. Like I said, I'd like you to read Section 188 of the Constitution that deals with the situation assuming Governor Fubara refuses to comply. But that notwithstanding, the House of Assembly in their press briefing yesterday within themselves said they don't want to go that route. They are still making available chances for the governor to exercise some level of understanding. That's why they gave him 7 days. Ordinarily, at the expiration of June, I think that, or rather, he has committed gross misconduct, which is impeachable by Section 188, and other activities that he has done, including flagrant disrespect for judgments. They could have gone to do all of this, but they've given him 7 days. But that I like to respond as well to what a learned friend said. In a situation where an order is wrongly acquired, a situation where, as at then, Edison Eye was being suspended and went to court to make frivolous claims, and that order is granted, and the other person has appealed against that order. What happens to all the activities that assuming is upturned, what happens to all the activities that were carried out within that period? That is what Justice Omotosho has killed by saying that every action of that particular action or resultant effect of that action is null and void. I thank him for admitting that the governor is duty bound in 7 days to present that budget. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Collins Odu, and we have with us also Towo Oseruwoja. Thank you both gentlemen for your time. We have the next 6 days to see what exactly will become of Rivers State and Governor Siminalayi Fubara's time as governor. But thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us.